This week, I want to give it up to an awesome builder in the Lego block who definitely has some skills with the brick. Definitely have a massive collection. And I say awesome, I mean it with an AUS. I'm talking about Steve Reynolds, SRTV, Steve's BrickHive. This was not a paid advertisement for the Cali Brick Clique, but definitely a two whoops salute to Steve and the skunk.
We got back last night. I got back yesterday afternoon. This flight was like 5 o'clock in the morning. We basically have slept 4 hours.
Are you ready? All right. 5, 4, 3.
What's going down, everybody? Welcome back to episode 62 of the Cali Brick Clique. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, go ahead and hit that rating down there. Let us know what you think. But you know, we have the usual suspects here. Claire.
Hey.
Woo woo. We got Shy.
What up?
And they're at their actual homes right now. What the?
Yeah, we're home.
But beside that, we have definitely one of our longtime friends here, BrickHive.
Hello.
Studio, possibly?
Maybe. Yeah.
Name change?
Maybe. But yeah, special guest though.
Thank you for having me again. I appreciate it very much. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be here. You guys have really made a name for yourself with Cali Brick Clique, man.
That's what you keep telling us.
I'm telling you, dude. Yeah, it's. I feel like you guys are just like this staple thing in the community where it's. I don't know. It's a really good podcast to listen to, man. Yeah, definitely consistency. I mean, I was just complimenting you just a second ago about that. How as tired as you guys are, you're still going the distance, man. getting it done.
Yeah, literally. Claire and I were literally a day ago on the other side of these states.
No, I landed.
I'm really falling asleep, guys. I'm gonna die.
No, I landed 24 hours ago. Yeah, I know. Shy's gonna actually edit himself the most on this.
Probably.
I was like, maybe you should put some headphones on and we can like do something really loud that kind of snap you out of it occasionally.
Nah, here's the most annoying sound in the world.
And my favorite is Shy is always like, I don't need sleep. I can run on 4 hours all the time. And it's like,
if for 4 or 5 days in a row, that's fine. But like last night, I didn't get any sleep. Because I worked and then I worked on that video and then I just slept for like an hour and a half.
I can't believe you uploaded that video. I can't believe you uploaded a video. I was like, what is this? And I was like, oh my God. And then you were really like hyped to do it. There was clearly like emotion driving that, which is like, I think a lot of what we're going to be talking about today, which I'm really excited about. But like those decisions obviously aren't driven always by logic. Mm-mm. And so you probably needed sleep, and instead you had to.
Exactly. It was one. Yeah, exactly. You said it so well. Like it's one of those videos that I really was just hyped to do it, and I didn't want to like not finish it because I wanted you guys to see it as soon as possible.
Little trailer.
Yeah, it was really, really well done, though, man. Like I said, the editing was great.
My friends that are not in the Lego community are excited about it. They loved it, and they're like, "We want to meet all of your Lego internet friends." I was like, "Whatever you want." Like they're here. They're all wonderful. They're like, "When do you guys hang out on the internet?" This is like
on the internet. So
like on
special occasions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It was a fun video to make. Like I really enjoyed it. It's only a minute and 30 seconds long, but it took me like a while.
Well, when you have that many content creators together, I mean, I'm assuming everybody already assumes like a lot of videos are going to trickle out about that.
Yeah, I mean, so might as well throw a hype video.
So your introduction was just a nice little ease into what's to come.
Be prepared for the same vlog shot in 5 different ways.
Right. Different perspectives. It's not a bad thing.
So Sans and I like don't both like he didn't shoot anything, so we don't. I don't know. He might make something, but like
he did. It's for later.
Maybe, yeah. And then every time someone had their camera out, like I would pull mine back in. It's very weird. It's like, and it was the same thing at Brick Fair. You know what I mean? It was like whenever like all these like people that do content together, it's like it's either same thing or like you know what I mean, or you don't do it at all.
Well, I remember even you and I at one point, we did that. Like we crossed cameras when it's pretty wild.
I think for me though, I felt like it was opposite. Like when one person would pull out a camera, I wanted to pull out mine too, just so I can have that. Like, hey, you're recording too, so that way when I eventually were to see that video, there's gonna be an exchange of moment in time where like you're both shooting the same exact scene, but from a different eye perspective, which can be a good idea.
For you guys were in a much more tighter environment with each other too, you know what I mean? Like at Brick Fair, you know, like there's a much wider area of
because you're all spread
area to cover. But there was also more of us there. So yeah, I mean, but you guys were in like this one small group, and then at some points at small quarters, you know what I mean? So so yeah, when you got like 5 cameras whipped out, like, you know, at once within a like 20-foot space area, you know what I mean? Like, I can imagine even the most comfortable people can be like, because I even that the was it no, it was Justin's video. I think it was Justin's video. At the very end, Ryan was almost like, you know, like get the camera on my face, and like Ryan been on camera probably more than any of us, you know what I mean, except for maybe Justin, you know. So it's like, yeah, it's a lot, I'm sure, but it's fun. Yeah, I mean, it's still a lot of fun. I mean, I'm sure you could tell like how, you know, the energy and stuff, and the positive vibes and happiness and joy, and you know, you could totally feel that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
what was fun about it is just like when we were just walking, or when we're just doing absolutely nothing, and we're kind of just conversing normally. When you're not, for example, like if like Claire and I, or we're talking amongst each other, and we're like walking. And then Holly's behind us, like just talking to us in conversation. I'm just throwing out a random example. So this kind of happened, right. But like us two are talking in a conversation, and then you hear Holly's voice, the way she speaks on camera, completely change. So you automatically know she's vlogging.
Yeah, and then you know not to say things that you're not supposed to say on camera. Yeah. So it's like, I was really bad about this. Like, I would like to switch on and off from Sans' name. Like, I would, it was a disaster. Man. Yeah, I was like literally. And like, I calls him by his first name as well. Anyway, so
that's why when I met him, I was like, I'm just going to call you Sans. So
because even knowing people's name, generally, it's more for me, unless the person was like, "No, call me by my name," you know. But for me, it's like, no, that's how I know you. You know what I mean? Like that's
like you'll always be Hive to me.
Now, like for me, some people can switch back and forth, like Claire and Plastic Architect. I mean, it just depends. You know what I mean? Like Emily's an Emily, like it's Emily or Emmasaurus. You know what I mean?
A lot of people call Emily Emma.
Shy.
Yeah, Shy. I think I've maybe once since I've known him, I've actually said "SHYtime is my time."
You have.
Okay, well, now it'd be twice.
Like, okay, am I in trouble?
SHYtime is my time.
Like, it's like being called by your
full name. It's like your mom calls you by like your first, middle, and last name.
But see, again, too, that's like the difference between like a Brick Fair and what you guys, because at Brick Fair, again, man, we're around a lot of people, so you're not calling Sans by his first name already. Yeah, so you're already in that mode, you know what I mean? So yeah, that'd be a really interesting dynamic, to try and juggle around. Because imagine somebody does vlog something and it's something really, really awesome. Right.
I mean,
but like you said someone's name or something in it, you know,
everything is edited. What was concerning to me is that like Justin, like I love Justin. I know he doesn't listen to this podcast. Like it's fine. I'm going to totally talk a little bit of smack right now, but like I always knew like he didn't edit at all, but like
that was clearly.
Yeah. I noticed that at the end too, when he was asking Emily, can you be in this video? Can you be in this video?
Why?
I was like, what the heck, dude?
Did you even watch this video before you uploaded it, bro? Like,
I was like, why can't you be in the video?
I mean, I like the video, but I mean, like,
it was a great video, dude. It was very entertaining.
There's a piece in there where it goes black, like it goes black. It's because because I was recording it the entire time. The only time I got off is when it was my turn and Ryan was gone on the back. So, because I went last, so like it'll go black. So that's when I hit record, like I turn it off, so it's a new clip And I'm like, you didn't cut the.
No, that wasn't artistic. That wasn't intentional. That was.
I was just like, oh, well, whatever. Hey, the views killed it, and the comments are
yeah. Because I looked
right
at the
now.
views, I was like, wasn't that uploaded like just a minute ago?
The views are killing it. And
I thought maybe I missed it. It was.
He kept the whole thing in there.
It's so funny.
Well, trust me, dude. You could tell already. You know, I mean, it should be obvious. Yeah, like anything that's gonna come out of like what you guys did is gonna be ate up in views.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was funny. I still thought it was funny.
It was funny. I love how like. Anyway,
the comments have been killing me.
The comments are hilarious. I love that Josh did a video, but basically like turned it into us, like talking him into going to the like giving him fake news that the Lego store in Austin wasn't going to receive the sets that he wanted to buy.
Yeah.
Did you see
that? Yeah.
And shout out to Josh. I guess he pulled a Charizard. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Did he really?
That's what he told me. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, wow.
Pokemon stuff. Pokemon.
I'll have to tell Sam.
Yeah, that's that card you wanted.
Mm-hmm. Still fighting for it.
Yeah, man. I was hoping to bring you that luck you needed, but nope.
It's all good. It still goes on. The battle rages on. It's all good.
Yes. Rage on.
All right. Well, let's get down to the nitty-gritty.
Mm-hmm.
So the last time we spoke to Hive, he had made a decision to leave a job where he felt was just overwhelmed, and then it just wasn't where he wanted to be, into another place where it gave him more time and less stress in his life. But since then, that has changed.
Well, I started the other job, and there was a number of things that happened. One was they weren't completely honest about the hours. They told me it was going to be a 40-hour week, maybe a tiny little bit of overtime. I was like, okay, I can handle that, because I told them straight off the bat. I was like, look, work-life balance. I was like, I take that shit seriously. You know what I mean? Yeah. I was like, so I don't mind working a tiny bit of overtime once in a while. I was like, but Monday through Friday, you know what I mean? 8 to 5. So yeah, like the last week that I was there, I worked basically about 13 hours every day. I mean, it started at like 7:30 in the morning, and I get home at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. The other thing, there was other aspects to the job that they just weren't really honest about, the way it's operated and stuff like that. And then like I hurt my back like the second day before I like left, and I hurt it pretty bad. As a matter of fact, it's still injured, and I'm on medication right now for it. But yeah, so I was just like, you know what, screw this. I was like, I'm done with it. This isn't going to work out. And I had to talk with my wife, figured out what's going on, and I made a decision. I was like, look, I have a talent. I've made money off it before. I made plenty of money off it before. I've just never had it as steady income. I've never really wanted to go that route because I don't know what will happen. I don't know if it's solid. You know what I mean? But I said, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot, and decided to start in art business, selling prints, doing commission work, stickers, shirts. So I'm in the process right now of building a website, getting all that stuff together. I have an arsenal of artwork at my disposal already that I can start with. I probably have 100 different prints that I could sell, and some of them I can turn into shirts. Some of them would make good for stickers. So I've already got all that right off the bat, and I've been calculating, like, shopping around for different places to make the prints. And I think now I'm in the stage where I'm like, look, I think I'm just going to drop the money, man. And I'm just going to buy everything myself. I'm not going to buy a $30,000 scanner printer, but I'm going to probably drop like a couple grand. The scans that I've been doing, color stuff, it's like, looks beautiful. It's like vibrant. It looks almost better than, like actually the original stuff that I do, because of the contrast and all that stuff. But my extreme detailed shading, especially where it gets very light, they're having a hard time like picking that up and making it look correct in the printer. So I don't know if it's because of the other day I went there and he'd scan it, look at it, and then like adjust some settings, scan it, look at it. Like he did it like 10 times, right? And I'm like, you know, if you can't figure it out, man, it's okay. I'll go to a different place or something. So I don't know. I'm thinking about maybe just, like I said, just getting my own printer scanner that's good enough, good quality, you know what I mean? Like, not going cheap, but not going top of the line, you know, because that's ridiculous. So, and it'll save me money because it costs basically about $7 per print for me to make, for them to scan it and print it. Yeah, right now.
Okay.
So, and I'm charging $25 for a print, you know what I mean? So I'm not, obviously, you know, that's taking into the cut, and that's not even also including the material, like the tube that I'm going to ship it in, you know, the printing label for it, you know what I mean? Just the time to go ship it, you know, those kinds of things. So,
yeah,
but I'm starting a new business, and there's a lot of trials and errors that I'm going to have to figure out, you know.
It's a big leap. Yeah. It's all about taking that first leap, I guess, right?
Yeah, but I'm excited about it. You know what I mean? It's scary,
but you have the skills to back up what you're talking about. So,
well, and then plus they say you're not gonna make an omelet, man, if you don't break some eggs, right?
Whew.
It's a huge risk, especially since you just bought a house.
Oh yeah, man. Believe me. I look around and it's like, oh yeah. I got a huge mortgage payment.
Maybe that's like applying good pressure to you, though, because you're like, man, I gotta keep this up.
It's not. I mean, look, I mean, in a way it is, but that's not. It's not the motivation. You know what I mean? I mean, it is, but it isn't. Like, trying to get another job is not going to be easy because I've been doing the same thing for, you know, like 20 years, man. You know, mm-hmm. So trying to get something different that's going to make any kind of amount of money is not going to be easy. So that's why I'm like, look, I've got an opportunity right now to try this. I have a timeline, you know, like a certain amount of months before, like, okay, now it's like a line, like I can't go back from, like, I got to figure something out. And like I said, man, it's a risk I'm willing to take. People open up businesses all the time. You know, I've already got my foot in the door with a lot of stuff. You know, like I said, if I had never made money off of it, it'd be a little bit different, but I've made, since I was a teenager, man, I've made money. Like, whenever I want, you know, I can push it and like advertise a little bit. And then, I mean, people always want me to draw something for them. It's just, like I said, it's like having a tip job. You just, you don't really know what you're going to get. And I don't like that. I've always liked a steady paycheck.
See, I understand, because like I used to do tattoos when I was younger, and like I stopped because that same exact thing is like I needed steady income, where at that time, like, it wasn't professional. I wasn't in a shop or anything.
Right.
But it was like,
you're doing prison tattoos, dude?
Yeah, stick and poke. The garage tats.
Break that pin open.
No, I had all the good stuff. I had all the machines and everything. I even had like, it was a clean setup. But honestly, I stopped because my friend was more into it. So I was like, you go ahead and do that. And then, you know, family responsibilities. I was like, I need real money. So yeah.
Yeah, that's real money in tattooing, man.
There is, but
because that's what I was going to do too, man. I was going to get apprenticeship.
Keep practicing. Yeah, see, apprenticeship.
But it's not an easy.
$300 an hour.
Yeah. Well, that's what. That's what a couple of different tattoo artists told me. That's why because I always loved tattoos, but I never thought about doing it for a living. But yeah, once some of them saw like some of my hyperrealism stuff, they're like, dude, if you got a little more practice, man, they're like, you could be a portrait tattoo artist, and they make like $200-$300 an hour, man.
Yeah, that's where it's at.
But it's not like you can't just go fill out an application and get a job at a tattoo shop. You know what I mean? Yeah, it varies from tattoo shop to tattoo shop. How long you do apprentice? Do you get paid? Some you don't. Some you're a gopher for a while. You know what I mean? Some you just sweeping the floors for a year until you really even do tattooing.
Exactly.
You know, and that combined with like, you know, my daughter was, you know, I was working 3 jobs, dude, when my daughter was born, like just to pay the bills, man. You know what I mean? There's no way I was going to like, you know, apprenticeship and tattooing, but it's all good.
But that's what I liked about it, though. You just like, you know, I'll do tattoo, get some money real quick. That was the cool thing. But that's like what's cool about art, I think. But, you know, you have to get to that point, I guess.
How are you going to take, and I don't know if you thought about this, like, how are you going to take what you've learned from like doing, you know, social media for a little bit and, you know, doing like YouTube and stuff are you going to apply that? Because I feel like now Like one of the best things I think about social media is that it gives a platform for a lot of artists. Like
it's a tool.
For sure.
You have to use it.
Yeah. So that's one of the other things where I got the foot in the door, because BrickHive Studios is what I'm naming the business. And I decided to name it that to kind of keep it similar to BrickHive. And the channel is the main reason for that, obviously, because I've got an audience already. And even though it's a Lego audience, a lot of my audience does like, the artwork stuff. Now I'm going to be taking the artwork stuff and putting it pretty much strictly to, that second channel that I made. But yeah, that's going to be totally integrated with my business. Everything from like, so when I have a print for sale or something, you know what I mean? You can go watch how I drew it, you know what I mean, on the YouTube channel if you want to see how it was drawn, how long it took, or the start to finish, or whatever the case may be, you know what I mean? That's just kind of like a little added bonus, especially if you're buying an original piece or you got something commissioned. Obviously, I advertise my business on it. I mean, that's what it is. It's a business channel. So, and then the same thing with like Instagram. I started a business Instagram account page for that. I'll probably do the same thing with Twitter, and then of course the website. And I mean the whole thing, the channel too. I mean, this is all like, it's going to evolve a little bit because it's so new to me. I don't know. I've never owned a business. You know what I mean? So. Like there's stuff that I kind of thought about, but there was like a little more specific, like when like I messaged Claire asking her about like the sticker stuff, and she was talking to me about like the copyright claim lawyer thing and stuff, because like it's been in my mind, same thing with like trademark and stuff. For instance, like the Star Wars helmets that I've been drawing, like I was, I want to make that a series of different helmets to do, but it's not going to be like my bread and butter per se. And I don't think it will be. But also don't want to get my ass sued because I'm not even parroting anything. I'm just straight up drawing a specific helmet. I mean, I could rename it something like Space Helmet, but like
you don't want trouble with
it's clearly Commander Cody's helmet. You know what I mean?
So when I started the sticker, I'll call it a business because
it is.
So it's not, because like my goals are different from yours. Like I was doing it like I wanted it to be a self-sustaining hobby. So do you know what I mean? Like I wanted my costs of manufacturing to be covered, which officially they are as of like right now, but it's, taken a lot to get there. But I like, for me, like I don't want to, I hate printing things. I hate it. I have had years of printing drawings and even up until like literally when I quit my job, which was like making sure like line weights were strong enough and like just that I've like had my fair share of it. I didn't want any of that to do with that. You know what I mean? So I was like, okay, I will pay the premium for it. But anyway, regardless, my point is there's so many things when it comes to e-commerce that I've learned just doing a hobby that's really interesting. And like things like if you sell goods in the state of California, you have to be registered with the tax board. You have to legally charge sales tax. And I don't know, that could be different for, the state of Maryland. And then you have to do all that stuff. And, what kind of liability are you incurring? Are you a sole proprietorship? Are you a limited liability? Like what kind of, like, how do you want to set up your business? Like all that stuff. So I'm setting up my own company that's separate. E-commerce is like its own thing. And selling art and product is its own thing. It's really interesting. For me, as someone who didn't come from that world, I think a lot of the fun was kind of figuring out like a completely new industry, essentially.
Yeah. So all that stuff, some of it's been really cool and exciting and interesting. And then some of it's been a really big pain in my ass. And from the tax part of it, which my wife has really been having a hand in helping me because she knows way more stuff about that than I do. And not just taxing, like if you buy something from me, the tax that comes involved, but then the tax that I have to pay, you know what I mean? And then like even the stuff that revolves around the taxes, like now this is considered like a business area, you know, my Lego room, you know what I mean? Like they ask for the square footage, the percentage of the house that I use for it and blah, blah, blah. So there's that, then there's the copyright stuff. And then like the e-commerce thing, like that's why I had to get it. Like I was going to do it anyways, so people can send me sig figs if they want, but I had to get a PO box. I had to get another phone number. There was like a lot of stuff, man, that I had to do before I can even get to like the next step of doing something. So like a lot of that stuff I've been getting through already and I've gotten done. So like I said, now that I've gotten a lot of that stuff out of the way, is now the time. And that's why it's been taking longer than I thought, because I thought I was just going to be like go on Squarespace and be like, you know, I got a website and then bam, I'm starting to sell, you know what I mean? And I could do something like that. But my biggest thing that I've been telling like my wife, I've been telling like, you know, the guy that's helping me out with the web page and everything, like I want everything to be completely legit, like completely legal, by the books. I don't want nothing. I want it professional. You know, I don't want no half-ass nothing, dude.
Let me give you a little bit of like wiggle room. Until you make a certain amount of money, then it's totally fine. And even after that, it's totally fine. You have a whole year of like getting your stuff together before.
Oh yeah.
So just to be fair. And then second, I think I would like have an attitude readjustment, just to be like totally straightforward with you about like what is a pain in the ass and what is not. If you want to be a business owner, 75% of your time is going to be dealing with that kind of stuff versus actually producing the art. And it's going to be like, when you get that printer, it's going to be the biggest pain in the ass to figure out and to calibrate it and to do all that stuff. And then you're going to
I don't expect it to be easy. No, I mean,
no, but do you know what I mean? Like, and then like all that overhead stuff that you're going to do, like if your business is successful, you're going to maybe have employees and then maybe be shipping out stuff. And then you'll want to switch platforms from something to Shopify, or you know what I mean? Like all that stuff, all that operational stuff is going to be the majority of your job. And I think that's like,
if I get to a point where I got employees or operational stuff on that kind of level, it'll be a while, and I will gladly embrace it. No matter the amount of stress level, anxiety, and work that I've done over the last 20 some years, with physical and mental stress. I'm not saying again it's going to be easy or nothing like that, but I feel like as long as I have the tools and the help involved, and even stuff that's a pain in the ass, it's a pain in the ass, but with a good goal in mind. I don't mind working my ass off when there's a good goal at the end of it. Okay. You know what I mean? And there's something, you know, like, I guess tangible that, I don't know. I don't know the right word, because it's not just about money or anything. You know what I mean?
It's not that you're working for yourself for the first time ever. You're not working for somebody else's profit.
Maybe that's the part I'm not really like thinking about, like the working for yourself.
But it's like, but you also, you're working for yourself, but you also have to protect yourself, especially in this country, in all senses of it. The second you start having any kind of wealth or success, you have to figure out how to protect yourself.
Yeah, like definitely. I agree with that. Like, you know, and I've opened up like separate accounts, like bank accounts. You know, one of the biggest things though, that's kind of bugged me is, so like, I'm using PayPal. I mean, you can use a credit card and stuff, you know what I mean? But PayPal is like the funnel that's, you know, to my bank account and stuff like that. So, the one thing that PayPal has, or it doesn't have, that I don't like is when it's mobile. Like, let's say like there's an art fair and I go and like rent a booth or something like that. There's like a barcode. Like if somebody wants to buy something, I can put in like the amount, they can scan it and pay through that way. But there's not like a card slider. Now I can get Square, but that's a separate thing. And if I have to do that, I'll do it. But I was hoping to keep stuff like streamlined. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can have people pay you on PayPal on Square. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Get out.
It's just one of the forms of payments that you offer on your Square site.
Ah, well, I did not know that. Thank you, Claire. Look at that. That was a little tiny bit of stress about it, and you just made that just go right away.
I mean, it's so complicated, and Square has its limitations, which is why, like, if you notice, the really big e-commerce sites are not on Squarespace; they're on Shopify, because it's just been around for a lot longer. It's much more established. It like can calculate the nuances of sales taxes between all 50 states, all local regions, like sales tax is a really complicated thing, which is super weird. It depends on like the kind of state that you're in. There's different states that are like have different rules. Like whether are you charging sales tax based on like where the product is being shipped from or where whatever. And so like states like California and Texas, it's based on where it's being shipped from. So it's a higher tax rate. So if you buy stickers, you guys have bought stickers from me, which it's great, and thank you for your support, but I didn't charge you sales tax, so I'm going to have to incur that later. That was technically not right that I did that.
Like I didn't they're so cheap.
No. But then like even though you're in Maryland and you're in LA, which has a difference, I have to charge the sales tax of where I am located because California is that kind of state. Anyway, it's really interesting. I didn't know all this stuff, and I'm like, I think I could be an accountant in like a separate way.
yeah. So that aspect is interesting too, because when Jason was helping me, he's helping me with the website. So like all this backdoor stuff in the website he's asking me about, right? Like, okay, so like we got to the part where shipping and sales tax and stuff, and he's like, there's the option here. He's like, you don't have to charge the sales tax, right? And I was like, he's like, because if you don't make enough money within the year, you don't have to worry about the IRS. Okay. And of course, I'm sure depending on
you should know that number off the top. It's a federal number. Do you know what it is off the top of your head?
Not right off the top of my head, but I told him, I was like, oh no,
what was it? Like, what's the number?
What?
600. I think it's 600. It's 600.
I thought it was 5, but
it's 600.
I remember it wasn't over 1,000.
So if you make that's why if you make over $600 on Google AdSense or YouTube or whatever, they'll send you a W-2 because they are legally required to report that to the IRS. But if you make less, then they don't. So that's
but the thing that I told him, I was like, yeah, man. I was like, I might not, do good, and if it fails, I'll lick my wounds and jump off that bridge when I get there. You know what I mean? But I was like, but what if it takes off? And I was like, I make a lot of money. I was like, then I'm going to owe a ton of tax money, man. I was like, I'm trying to start a new business, man. I can't be stuck with a bunch of tax money, that extra tax money, you know what I mean, to make up.
You also don't want to activate
an audit.
Yeah. Like you want to just like.
Right. Yeah.
Shy.
So.
Yeah. Thanks.
Oh yeah. Sorry to bring that up. Yeah. Right.
No, I mean, because if you want to talk about pain in the ass, there you go. Like it's like
it's not all peaches and cream, I'm sure. So I'm hoping, like I said, it'll work out good. And it's like I said, I have no doubts about making money. It's about, can I make enough to sustain, living off of, so
yeah.
And even if you can't, you can still keep the website. You have it all set up now. You have the system set up, and then you can transition it to a hobby that maybe sustains itself.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's impossible, but it's close to improbable if I have like a job, like a 9-to-5 type of job or something on top of it, because my biggest problem before with trying to do a lot of art or even do a lot of more to my channel is not having enough time. And it's always been because like I'm working 40 hours or more a week, and then trying to come home and then put more time into everything else. And I'm not saying again it's impossible, but God, trying to work a full-time job, trying to run this, if it started to even get kind of good, you know what I mean? And keep up with it and try and make sure my channel can stay relevant as well. And that's not even including just life, spending time with my wife and like just house stuff and, anything else. Like it's too much. I'll just wear myself too thin.
What about like working part-time?
That's an option. Definitely. And I have time, to figure it out. So, that's.
So have you
yeah.
Okay.
Basically about 6 months.
Okay.
To see, not to just live off of it, just to see if it's an upward trend. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have exact numbers worked out yet. Like any kind of like graph as far as like what that trend would be. But yeah, basically if I can see like, okay, it will work. It's just going to take some more time to get more of that snowball effect going. You know what I mean? But I don't know. And it's weird because it's a market that, even though I've been in for a long time, I've dabbled in here and there. I don't know, man. It's and not only that, but I'm kind of an interesting subject about it because I don't have one niche of like drawing. I like even on the website. So I was telling Jason, I was like, okay, look, I was like, I'm gonna have to break up my artwork, man. I was like, because people that might want a beautiful colored picture of a lotus don't want to see a creature with 20 eyeballs and like teeth coming out of its head or something. You know, like they don't want to see that John Carpenter type stuff or the, you know, H.R. Geiger type artwork. You know what I mean? But there is a lot of people that love that stuff, but they don't give two craps about like the lotus or whatever, you know? Yeah. So I have like these different avenues, man, of like artwork, you know? And then there's, you know, occasionally I'll do like cartoony type stuff, like kind of like what Mr. Hinkle does in a way. But you know, my specialty is like hyper realism artwork, you know? So.
I think it would be, I think it's a deficit for you to not like have a signature style and like focus on that. I think it's, I think if I would go on your website and see something disjointed and like things that like weren't all in the same thing, it would reduce legitimacy. I think, because like part of
even if it's clearly separated, like, you know, this artwork, that artwork. It's not like I have like you open up the page and just like everything spills all over the place. No, you know what I mean? It's all organized.
Artist, like most artists have like a way of how they do their work that's memorable.
That's what you're supporting. You're supporting that style. You're supporting that signature, right?
Yeah.
So,
but that means that makes me choose one style of my artwork.
Yeah. I think you have to refine your style in the sense like you have like bring it all together and create something that is fundamentally reflective of all of it, right? Just because the subject matter is different, but like the hand that's doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The way you shade it, the way you
do whatever you want.
Like, no, I'm trying to understand what you mean by that.
Super simple, right? You pick an artist that's super famous to you, right? Like the style, like their hand stroke, the way that they do it. It doesn't matter like what they're drawing or painting or photographing. You can usually tell, or you can always tell it's them doing it. Like there's a reason why, you know, that
there are specific artists. Yeah. I mean, that stand out, but it I guess it depends. There's definitely unique styles, but you know, like obviously like Mr. Hinkle, you know what I mean? Yeah, I would know that. Like if he drew something, you know what I mean? Like, right. But me, I've got, you know, a Commander Cody helmet right here, you know what I mean? But like, I've also got like a suitcase logo that I'm working on, you know what I mean? I've also got like, you know, a portrait of my daughter, you know what I mean? I've never limited myself to what I can do, you know what I mean? And I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's like when you go through the training, right? You learn all these different styles and you try out all these different styles and you like follow these artists over through their lifetime and they have different periods, right? Where they like do different things. But it's like the mastery of one is what makes someone a master, right? It's like what makes someone a professional. I think I truly believe that. Like I think but unless you are branding, or like it's like what are people coming to your website for? Are they coming for your work, or are they coming for your like skill set to kind of have that malleability to do whatever they ask you to do? Because those are two different services. You know what I mean?
But I provide both of those services. I have, like I said, I have a whole arsenal, like I said, of artwork and prints and stuff that I'll continue to make. But I also am an artist on demand. If you bring me a picture of your daughter, you want me to draw a portrait of her, or like whatever yeah, I can do that. If you want me to draw a logo,
it would be cool though to have a style do that.
No, I get what you're saying. But I wouldn't even. I'd have to really do some reflecting because I wouldn't even know where to keep that style. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if I did it, then it's going to be remorse if somebody wants something and I'm like, no, I don't do that.
Yeah, but see that's the.
They still have the skill to do it.
They wouldn't be going to you. You know what I mean? You want.
But I don't understand
something specific. Like you want so if I came. So the artwork that I've gone to Hinkle for, or any of the tattoo artists that I've had on my body, like I went to them because of how they Oh my God.
Like the style. Like
yes,
really
right. How they interpreted my request. You know what I mean? And it's usually like.
But what do you do for somebody when, again, like you can go on their website and you see all this different stuff and you're like, holy cow, there's a lot of different stuff they can do.
Very
you know what I mean? It's not like I just show one thing. Because I get what you're saying, because you don't want to be disjointed. You know what I mean? And I brought this up because everybody, and there's all these different opinions I've gotten about it. Because a lot of people think it would be a disadvantage, and a lot of people think it'd be a huge advantage because they say you can be a much wider audience to people. You know what I mean? Yeah. But then and usually when people say it's a disadvantage, they mean it towards me, like not the customer. They mean it because they're like, well, that means it spread you thin. Like you're doing this drawing and then you're trying to do this and then sometimes I wouldn't even be able to do certain things, or like they just be on a huge waiting list, especially with hyperrealism work, because those things take me so long to draw. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. And I think a lot of it is going to be trial and error. Because I can tell right now, just like with my channel, the BrickHive channel, is I can tell, you read analytics, and if I see, like this isn't selling very much, I'm going to be like, well, I'm going to just not really sell that stuff on the website anymore. I can put it in my portfolio, but like if the cartoony type stuff doesn't work or something, I'll be like, okay, let's just take that out of here. If I don't sell really any shirts, I'm going to be like, all right, that's probably not going to be a good thing to.
It's all trial and error right now, basically.
Yeah, and especially like I said, I've never done this before. So yeah, man, it's weird.
Now that you have the time to do it, it's good to get the ball rolling for it. And if need be, later down the line where you need some extra cash, you can do something part-time just to sustain you, but your business is already moving along on its own, that it's not going to be as stressful as if you're doing both at the same time per day. Because like one of my good friends that I've known for a very long time, he's really big in the custom pin world, and he does custom clothing, and it's ridiculous how well he's doing right now. But he works a full-time job. Like he didn't get the ball rolling until he started his company when he was on paternity leave at work. So in that time frame, he was able to set up his business, all that kind of stuff, work out the kinks. And then when he went back to work, the business was rolling on its own, where it wasn't so stressful for him. And it's kind of crazy to see where he's at now. So you can do that now if need be, if you have to, like, get all the grunt work out there, all that stuff while you can.
Yeah. My intentions as far as work goes, like especially if this doesn't work out, and like you were saying about trying to like keep it part-time or whatever. The one thing I forgot to mention that I can do is, I don't know, for example, like Lyft or Uber or DoorDash, or I can get like a job like that, just to help sustain, and I can work whatever hours I want to work, and that's the most important thing, and that's why it's so difficult trying to get another, like, even a part-time job, like, is at the time frame. You got to go in at this time, you got to do this at this time. Like, I couldn't get a job like working Sundays, dude. Like, my life revolves around Good Morning Brick World, man. Like, even Mrs. Hive revolves around that, like plans around that, you know what I mean? Like, it's funny because when I was applying for jobs this last time, one of the stipulations was like, I can't work Sunday, and I didn't say why, but everybody just assumed it was a religious thing, like I had to go to church or something.
It is religion.
You could have said that.
But yeah, that's the way I think I'm going to have to try and do that, man, because I'm not going to give up on this unless it just completely tanks, and I can tell like it's just not going to work, and I will accept that fate, man, if it doesn't, you know what I mean? And it's all good. And as far as like my channel goes, like that's a long trek, that's like the long game, because I make a little bit of money, nothing like to write home to mom about, you know what I mean? But I make a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that's something like I just keep doing, and I do it because it's fun, you know what I mean? It's just cool that you can make money off of it. But that's what I've been trying to make sure to tell everybody too, is like, I'm not giving up on my Lego channel. Like, I have so much stuff planned as far as like the stop motion stuff.
Have you found it a little difficult to be able to schedule time and finding like a set schedule to do any of this, or are you just kind of sporadic?
As far as
just,
you mean everything? Or
YouTube, your channel, social media, and your business? Because you're used to a 9 to 5, right? So then now you have all the freedom and time to do whatever you want.
Yeah. So, and for someone like me, you know, I have to really stay disciplined, man, because it is really easy to fall into a space of like, oh yeah, I'll just watch some videos for a while, and you know, and like 3 hours go by, and I'm like, oh, I didn't start this drawing yet. What the hell am I doing? Or I was gonna work on that stop motion, and I was gonna finish the script, or
with great power comes great responsibility.
Right, man. I'm telling you. So yeah, that's something that I'm really trying to get the reins on. Like I get stuff done, but I don't get stuff done in the time that I want to get them done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, do you dedicate time? Like, if I have an art for commish, like, do you give yourself, I have a week to do this, I have 2 days to do this, and then in that time frame, like the first 3 hours when you wake up, figuring out how to do stuff for the business, and then yada yada yada. Do you do any of that?
Yeah, not exactly like that, but I mean, I have timetables that I give myself for stuff, and they're all different because, again, doing a hyperrealism portrait is like generally like a 9 to 15 hour piece of artwork. You know what I mean? Whereas like this logo that I'm working on is like maybe a 4 hour, you know, thing, you know, 5 hour.
I think like, because you're starting a new business and stuff, for me, like whenever I start something new, the hardest thing for me, I'm kind of with you on that, like, is figuring out how long it's going to take me to do stuff. You know, you like don't know because it's like stuff that's like totally new to you. So like to plan out your day, I think is like really difficult. And I find that like it's easy to forget also like how long it took you. But like if you're like me who gets like distracted easily or whatever, and like like I'm really detail oriented, and so like when I drew a lot, I also did photorealism, and you could literally spend like, I don't know, 4 days on a nose. And it's like, you to do that, like you have to like kind of, you have to obviously stop yourself. I'm sure you're consciously like, okay, that's enough. Like, let's move on to the next stuff. Yeah. And so I like would write down like how long it took me to efficiently, like if I felt like that was an appropriate time to do something, I would like write it down. I remember when I was first like working, I would do that so that like my manager would come and be like, okay, how long do you think it's going to take you to do like X, Y, and Z? And I would take a guess and I would figure it out. And if I was wrong, I would say by how much or by how little. And like, that's the only way that I was able to like figure out how to like discipline myself into like my own schedule. I'm totally struggling with that now. That's like, it doesn't ever. And like, I have to like take, as I'm telling this to you, I need to like obviously take my own advice, but it really, really, really helped me a lot. And there is an app that's like, it does that thing where it's like, you can set it for, and it's like every time intervals. God, I can't remember. It's not called like, it's called like, I'll Google it, but there's an app that actually helps you like chunk out your day into things so that it makes it so
you find it, like send it to me or something. Yeah, I was just talking about I don't remember what stream it was, but I was talking about like, yeah, I need to structure, and I was like, yeah, I wish I gotta reach out to Claire. I was like, she's like the goddess of organization and structure, and I was like,
that was on a Hive stream. I do remember hearing it.
I remember saying that. I was like, yeah, because I was lurking in the shadows. It's there. It's there. It's just,
dude, I struggle with it hard. Together. That's why I'm like so all about it, because it's like I can get really, really, really distracted. Yeah. So.
And two major things, like one of the reasons I've never done this as a business before is the convenience of just letting it go. You know what I mean? Like if I draw something, and like I've talked about this with people before, like I can do 9 hours of work on a drawing, man. And if something is not right, I mess it up, dude, I'll just throw it away, dude. You know what I mean? I can't necessarily do that with a business. Like I have to fix that. Or like there's been times like somebody's wanted me to draw something for them, I'll just start drawing or whatever. I'm like, nah, dude, this is just not worth my time, you know? But again, I can't do that. But yeah, one of the biggest things, man, it's a challenge out of all this stuff for this business. One of the hardest things, and it's always been the most difficult thing, is trying to figure out what to charge for stuff. Like trying to charge for your artwork is an extremely difficult thing. And the reason it's difficult is because I know what the formula is. At least the general formula that most artists use. But if I go too high on a price, then I'm not going to sell it. You know what I mean? Because nobody's going to be able to afford it. because I'm already charging generally when I do commission work, like, you know, the photorealism type sketch portraits and stuff. I mean, they're generally at least a couple $100, man. You know, so just like even the Star Wars helmets, you know, like Raptus has bought both of the original ones I've done. And yeah, they've been like hundreds of dollars, dude, because I'm not selling my stuff for cheap, dude. I'm not working for $8 an hour, you know, once I calculate all of the hours I put into drawing something, you know what I mean? So it's got to be worth my time. But yeah, you got to find a good balance. I'm really curious to see what this world is like compared to, and I'm sure a lot of you guys or like other Lego friends that I have in the community and stuff are probably asking me questions about it, because compared to the Lego world, I'm very curious what this art world in the Lego community or the YouTube community is going to be like, because it's so much more of a broader audience than so much Lego bigger, is. And I just don't know what the dynamic's going to be, because
start watching that content, start watching it on Twitter.
I have
start following it, start interacting, start getting to know people, just like get in there, see what they do, and start pick the ones you like and just mimic it and be consistent about it. That's it.
Twitch. That's something.
Oh, and said. The whole other aspect to kind of all this, you know, in a bigger, broader sense, is I've been much, much happier. Like I still have some stuff like that. You know, it's hard to work out, you know, with different things. But like, yeah, my mind has been so much at peace, and I'm like it will stay that way for a while. You know, once I get close to that 6-month mark, if I'm not doing good, then it might change a little bit, you know. But
then we'll ask you to come back on. But I mean, so we're gonna have back on episode number 82.
You guys, it didn't work.
So it didn't work out.
It didn't work.
Well, we can have you come back that time saying it did work.
Right. Yeah, look, I and like, no matter what, I think even if it doesn't get to the point where I want it to be in 6 months or whatever, that I'll still do it. You know, like you were saying, Shy, like kind of like on the side until it does grow big enough. You know what I mean? But shout out to Mrs. Hive, man, for holding me down.
I love them.
Right. God dang, dude.
So you're saying she should have left you? Like, how much of a headache have you given her? Like all this Lego buying, and then you quit your job, and then
a couple times.
Nah, man, she's super supportive. She wasn't. I ain't gonna lie, dude. She wasn't really keen on the trying to open up a Bricks and minifig store.
She wasn't feeling that.
Well, I mean, it's because that's on a so much more grander scale, and there's a lot more to lose if that doesn't work out.
And there's a risk of
that'll put me in some serious debt.
You'd be working more than a 40-hour week for something like that.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and
you wouldn't be home.
You will be working more than a 40-hour week.
And
plus the risk of dabbling in your own supply.
Yeah.
In the research I was doing, like after Shy had kind of put the seed in my head and made it grow, and I was thinking, oh, I know, no, but it wasn't even a bad thing. But when I was researching all this stuff, right? So one of the things that I found out, and again, I don't know 100%, just what I found out, that having a Bricks and minifig closer to a Lego store would have been better than further away.
Yeah, of course.
Because, well, I didn't know. But I guess because just the traffic in general, you know what I mean? You're already close by. If somebody goes to a Lego store, they're going to be like, oh, well, of course I'm going to go to the Bricks and minifigs. It's right there. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, think about like, all the crappy like theme parks around Disneyland. Like Legoland. Legoland is a terrible theme park. They don't invest in their own growth. They just like leech off of the crowds that don't feel like going to Disney or Universal that day.
And it's so weird because for me, somebody that's never been, I've lived in Florida a ton, but I've never been to like Disney World or nothing like that. And in my head, even though I know it's not right, but in my head, it feels like Legoland is like just connected kind of to Disney and stuff. You know what I mean? Especially because, you know, Disney is like an IP that, you know, Lego has. And I don't know.
That's so crazy you said that.
But I know, right? That was awesome. That was like the comment so far of the year.
I was just like, because doesn't care. But when we had our Disney passes, we're like, I'm tired of Disney. Let's go to Legoland.
But back to that is the whole point was that would mean like I would have to drive like 45 minutes every day to my store. So that's an hour and a half of just driving. You know what I mean? And of course I would do it, you know, if I owned but how long, man? I mean, how long would it be until I'm like, oh my God, dude, like every day I'm working like 20 hours at the store, man, trying to get it going because I don't want to pay somebody to work here. So I'm doing it. And
I don't want to pay someone else to do it.
But anyways, yeah, the cost of failing is much more bigger than, you know, to my art business. You know what I mean? So this seems like a much more optimal thing to get into.
Yeah, because if you fail, it's not really a fail. You just you tried something. You're just
Granted, my Lego collection would be awesome if the Bricks and Minifigs failed, but
see, having your own
what price? Come on, dude. I would have so much stuff.
A video coming out. Hey guys, so my store failed. I have all this. This is going to be the most epic haul.
If your store fails, that means you've declared bankruptcy. So you're in Chapter 11, and you're going to be liquidating all of that Lego.
Yeah. See, good thing Claire's here. Also, good thing Mrs. Hive doesn't listen to this.
Yes,
true. Right.
It's a super high. I mean, like this is a much like it sounds like the biggest investment you're taking right now is like buying your own printer.
Yeah, I mean,
17-bedroom house. Clearly, like this, you have probably. You know, like a bedroom that you can
printing room.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's actually it's I'm gonna be setting up some tables for all this stuff because
you have the room for it.
Yeah, you know, and that's kind of depressing too in a way because I look at all this stuff and I'm like, man, I don't have like that same job anymore, making all that money. So I can't buy like.
I was gonna say, are you gonna like? Yeah, you're gonna have to pull back. Like Lego is not gonna be
Oh well, Lego's making it easy for me for the most part, man. I mean,
are they really?
Yeah, they are. I mean, and I'm not talking about like the general stuff I ran about, you know what I mean? But like, I haven't really, dude. With the exception, out of like whatever 5,000 sets they've fucking waived, you know what I mean? Sorry about cursing, but waived, you know what I mean, for the summer, spring, summer, all that, man. I think. Yeah, there's like a handful or two that I really like, or I think I'm gonna be like, okay, I'll pay that money for that, you know.
Right.
But that's my logical side of me talking. Yeah, that's a whole.
This might be a good way to like control that.
Oh well, I have no choice.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have a choice, dude. Like I've always spent a little more than I should, you know what I mean? Like I've put myself in debt, you know what I mean? Not like crazy stupid debt, but I put myself in debt, you know what I mean? All the Lego I bought. I've already like kind of pushed the limit of where I'm going to go anyways, you know what I mean? So just not having a job like really just solidifies that, you know. And it's not difficult, man, cuz like I said, I don't really like a lot of the sets that are coming out for the most part, man. You know, or I'm just not paying that much, man, for that. I'm just not doing it, dude. And then there's a couple things that's happened that I just out of sheer spiteful principle, I am not getting, like the taxi, that gift with purchase taxi.
That's right. Put your foot.
I've made it a point not to spend enough money at the Lego store to get that thing. I don't want it. If somebody was going to give it to me, I'd tell them keep it because I am so mad about what they did that I'm just like, I don't want it, dude. Keep it. I'm you know what? I'm voting with my wallet, dude. That's exactly what I'm doing right now.
Your wallet is empty right now, bro.
Okay, that's you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Okay. My wallet's like, you got a choice, motherfucker.
I like Tired Chai. He's funnier.
I know, me too, dude.
I'm also when I'm like miserable and like totally overworked and like working 100-hour weeks, I'm apparently significantly funnier, but I'm way meaner to Sans, so it's like not worth it.
Dude, being mean is funny. It's just
we're a-holes.
There's a really fine line. Like there's a gray area where like I can't go too far.
Like one of my best friends, who's also my business partner, is hilarious, but she's also like, you're so annoying when you're like really happy. Like when come back from vacation, Claire is so annoying. All she wants to do is like take care of herself, work out, and is like super positive. Like I can't tolerate her. I'm like, thanks a lot. Like she only likes like stressed out version of me.
Too much positivity in here.
Yeah.
What is this? Bring it down a level.
Like, get out of here.
3, 4, 5 up. That's
Imagine going to business with Josh.
Oh man.
Well, you get some laughs, right? I mean,
yeah, you would. I don't know. There could be like.
But he's had a pretty dry sense of humor, man. Like,
except if he says like a really bad joke, he'll actually laugh, which is funny. Yeah.
What? That's like breaking the fourth wall.
Yeah, he breaks the fourth wall. Yeah, my dad got to meet Josh, who's like the ultimate,
shout out to Joe.
Yeah, shout out to Joe.
Dude's also, man. Like,
it is so weird. Yeah. I also got to meet my dad, and so my dad, like, he turned to me. He's like, when Josh says a joke, he like doesn't look at you. He like looks off into the distance. I think he does it so that he doesn't laugh.
That's right, because if you get that, okay.
If you catch like someone laughing, you'll laugh too with them and stuff.
Like, it's good.
If you watch the clip of like the snippet in the video in between, you know what I'm talking about, where he like says the joke and we all crack up. Just look at his face as whatever I say before that, the joke is registering in his head, and he's struggling not to laugh.
His like face is like wiggling and stuff. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I have to think of like bad thoughts to do that, so I won't smile.
So you won't smile? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when I'm so sleep deprived and exhausted, like I have no physical energy to like have a laugh or a smile, or a filter. So yeah, it's great.
A lot of mental training going on right there.
With all that, can we like end this? So
on that note,
with all this sleep deprivation and stuff,
we're gonna have to say goodbye to Funny Shy.
He'll be back. He'll be back soon.
Yeah, he'll be back. He's got kids, so he'll be back.
Exactly. Let's just roll that music.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, thanks for having me on, man. You all right, Shy?
No, I'm good.
For a second, I thought you were literally gonna just like.
I wasn't falling asleep. I was in the conversation. I'm just like, I can't think.